Alright guys, so I'm still on vacation, but I got these set ready so we can do a quick shoot you guys summon. So alright, yeah, we have ourselves the Gundam EX from Gundam Requiem for Vengeance, so that's kind of cool. I think we were all surprised that we were actually getting this unit that quick. Like, it's actually very simultaneously that they released the actual series on Netflix, and then right off the bat we have this unit for this week, so that's actually pretty cool. But unfortunately, sad to say, to kind of compensate of how global whole meta is, they actually went ahead and really watered down how good or how viable this unit is. Like, if you guys do like the unit or whatever, do be my guest and do go summon for it. Even though this is going to be a standard banner unit, so eventually it will be added into the center pool, so you don't necessarily need to get it right now. But if you absolutely love the new series, you want to get it, be my guest and go for that. There is an achievement that you can actually get up to 125 fragments, but that's the catch, because that is not actually enough to unlock the unit. So what they kind of do is they kind of incentivize that, so you're gonna have to actually put one copy of the unit before you can actually use that 125 fragments, so you can immediately put this unit into P1 status. So but yeah, this unit, unfortunately, it is kind of bad. First thing first, I haven't really looked at this in like a bajillion years. So let's kind of see where this unit is actually good for. It's good for land, and then for space, underwater is not so much. Most of the map that we actually get are kind of space oriented, while ground or land wise is pretty, I guess, infrequent. So the fact that its most used map is not going to be its best scenario, it's not the best situation where the unit can perform. That's kind of like a point deduct already, right? So that's kind of unfortunate in a way. EX skill is kind of cool. So this is something that JP has been getting. We have like the initial portion where you're dealing X amount percentage damage to from the EX skill to an enemy, but this one also tacks on another 502%. So in total, you're getting up to 1,004% EX skill damage to the enemy. So that's kind of interesting because being a ray unit, or you are getting some pretty sizable attack stats, so you should, deal quite good EXQ damage to the enemy. So that's actually pretty nice. Transcendent skill I will actually skip. We will come back to it in just a little bit. So skill 1 is where I have a lot of grudges with this unit, because all of them are conditional to the first 20 seconds, and that is kind of it. So when battle begins for 20 seconds, you get increased evasion up to 50%, and then both projectile and beam damage up to 54%, and that is it. So that is actually a really sizable buff considering the evasion stuff, but I mean, it's only going to be for the first 20 seconds. So this unit, unfortunately, it is only going to be good in arena, where a lot of those matches usually finishes within like the first 20 seconds, maybe 25 or even 30 seconds, and then you're good. Any long form content like your clan battle, like your raid, co-ops, and any other future events where it gets longer than 20 seconds or it triples that amount, this unit is not going to perform as good. But you guys can definitely say, well, skill 2 looks pretty promising. On evasion for 10 seconds, you do have both for the beam damage and projectile damage up by, what is it? So it's 14%, but you can stack up to 5 times. So I am not the biggest fan of one of these, because you guys may think on paper, wow, this is pretty amazing because you can stack that up to 5 times. You would eventually get up to a pretty sizable buff, but how often does one single unit out of like a 6 unit team gets target a lot? You really don't. So in that situation, you can't really rely on like an RNG based buff. So I really do not consider that to be good. And skill 1 being as bad as it is, and then skill 2 having to rely on evading to gain buffs, like there's many things that can go wrong, but this unit has everything to make this unit go really turns up, right? On evasion, you do have a EXQ gauge restored by 5%, so you guys already know how cracked that is. I don't need to explain that any further. But then again, on evasion, unless you are, I guess a tank or whatever that gets aggro outright, like this is not good. All right, I'm just gonna say it is not that good. So that's why I see a lot of wrongs in this unit, and I'm just like, man, I wish they would have made something that's a little bit more permanent, not with the transcendent skill, because transcendent skill is where things for a change is kind of good. All right, I'll give you that. They give you the standard package, and they made the last portion, I guess, kind of good. It's one of those restore EX skill gauge by 99% when battle begins. So it's screaming use me in arena, because what that does, you start the battle and then you can immediately dash out like a good 500 to 1000% EXP damage. So both of them tags on. So when you guys do take a look at the battle report, it is going to be split into two. So you're not combining both of them. You're still doing two separate instances of the 502%. While at EX skill level 1, you're probably looking at something at, I don't know, like a 600 in total, like 300 per. So it's still good, but yeah, it's just the overkit sucks. All right, let's just keep it at that. When we take a look at the pilot, let's see what she does. So again, skill 1 has one of those for the first 20 seconds. I think this is alright, I guess, because at least on skill 2 it is somewhat still usable. But you are getting a pretty sizable 115% buff. That's pretty good. I'll give you that. But if they would have made this like a good 30 seconds, something like that, at least it would still be usable for another 10 seconds. But yeah, skill 1 is kind of dead, so we're not really gonna be looking at that. So on skill 2, we have evasion 20%, and then you have your casual 38% for both range and melee, so that's good. And then you can also stack on evasion reaction speed, so at least you do have something going for that. So reaction speed does actually work towards evading or guarding, so in that respect it is kind of good. But then again, without like anything after 20 seconds, like you are not getting a lot of ups. So yeah, I will not even go for this palette either, because it's not really that great. We have a lot of good substitute already, so huge L. I feel like I'm happy that we are getting, like, you know, a new unit from the new series right up like really fast. But to kind of keep things on page with like every other unit that is to release for global, they really have to make they just have to be that bad guy and make this unit really bad. But there you guys have it. So that is kind of like a quick review for the Gundam EX. Not the best unit, honestly, in terms of the kit. I mean, animation wise, just kind of take it as you will. You know, it's definitely on a personal preference or whatnot. But the kits within this unit, terrible, hands down terrible. But if you guys do want to summon for it because you guys do like this unit, be my guest and go for it. But ultimately, I would not be recommending it. But with that said, that is going to be it for me, and I'll be catching you guys all on the next one.